Alright, so just 1 second, guys. Just had to go update title of the stream and whatnot, so folks don't yell at me. We gotta get those bets rolling too. It's another TVZ. But alright, getting back into the Fight Before Christmas qualifiers. We are 1 round away from a qualifying match. The winner of this goes on to a qualifying match where they'll play against either Estrella, Your Friendly Barcode, Carnage, or Gemini. We don't know because the bracket's a little bit further behind, but we will be casting both qualifier matches, so we may hop down to the lower bracket while we wait for this bracket to get caught up. However, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, just like the fire at the circus, it's intense.
Never right. So the pink Zerg. It's Anxiety's Kane.
Alright. Intense is a bit of a... how do I phrase it? Like a bit of a wild card almost to me. Like, this guy comes out and he impresses in the weirdest scenarios. He'll take the worst losses, but then bounce back to win game 2. I really don't know how to call this series because for all intents and purposes, double pun by mistake, I would kind of imagine Kane to take this series. But based off of the games we saw him play versus Cats, off the last qualifier, off the last round of 8, I mean, like, for goodness sake, he took down Showtime, which was really surprising to me. I really don't know where to gauge intense as far as this match goes.
Did you say for all intensive purposes?
I tried to... Intense, like
it's intents and purposes.
Yes, that's what I said. Because his name is Intense.
You said intensive.
No, intense and purposes.
I just asked you if you said intensive purposes.
Oh, I thought you said intense and purposes the first time. See, it sounds so similar. It doesn't even work when we're having the follow-up conversation.
Either way, it was still kind of a pun.
He's gonna put him in intensive care, if you know what I mean. There you go.
I was gonna try and do something about Sugar and Kane and being really sweet, but I couldn't.
You can't because of the pictures you have on Twitter, you harlots.
Wouldn't that mean I could?
If you guys didn't know, Kane is zombie uppercut smooching in
Wouldn't
Toronto.
that be more reason to actually do it? No, I can't do it because it's just
you have to commit to the bit. You have to commit to the bit.
No, I'm not gonna be like, you know why his name's Kane? Because he's so sweet, like a sugar cane. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Your like little version of yourself gets such a crazy lisp. Holy cow!
Maybe it's accurate. I did have a speech impediment when I was younger.
But. All right.
That's not a lisp.
No, but we're going through speech. Okay, before we get too offensive and start pissing everybody off, Kane did beat QXC to get here. QXC, another absolutely fantastic Terran player. Like I said, Intense almost approaches this, to me at least in my eyes, as a bit of a wild card. I really don't know what to expect of him in this series. Even if he loses game 1 poorly, I wouldn't even write him off then because, again, he's really good at bouncing back. So I am really curious how this one goes. For all, everything's like, if I was putting part 2, if I was putting real money on the match, though, I think I'd still go with Kane just because I got a little more faith in this guy. He is probably not the best foreign Zerg. He's not exactly Snoot levels of intensity or anything like that, but he's still a really fantastically strong player, especially in the North American scene. Yeah,
I think that pretty much summed up my feelings too. Kane, I think, has the edge. I think he's like the more solid player, and he's really good.
And the
like
looks.
One of the better foreigners, and the looks. Oh my god! But Intense is that wildcard guy where suddenly, like, he might even play really badly the first game. Like, just straight up, it'll be like, oh, like another mid-tier North American player, and then the next game he'll be like, oh, I figured it out. I warmed up, something goes into his head, and he's just like, oh, I'm going to play really well right now. And then that's when he impresses you. So it's kind of like, what game is Intense playing?
Well,
the really solid one? The really solid game? Or just the wobbly game?
Did you think it was Hearthstone for some weird reason?
Why would I ever think that? I don't play that game. Please don't talk to me. I'm very salty that I'm so bad at Hearthstone.
It's just like, I think it's because you have to pay to play almost. It's probably like
pay to win. God.
Yeah.
Stupid game.
Man, oh, have you seen? Just side note here. I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with this, but have you seen the videos of the folks who have been buying the wrong card decks?
Yes, I have.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Okay, so I got like a big streamer crush on Celeste already, but when she bought like 60 of the wrong card packs, and I saw that the video had like 900,000 views or whatever, 93,000 views. Oh my god.
By the way,
so
I made
embarrassing.
I made the mistake while he gets a defensive ban. Like, everything's going really normal. Although Intense is going for a medevac drop. Okay, that in a second. I made the mistake of playing one game of Heroes in like 2 months with Gilly for the Storm Show. And right before I like played the game, I was looking at the shop and I just could not resist paying like $10 for the Christmas special. And I was like, I don't even play this.
Dude, I did it too. I got Jaina the reindeer and like the other skin too. I hate myself for it.
Reindeer.
It's like I bought 2 things in that game: the Christmas bundle and like Nova, and that was it.
Yeah, basically. I'm just like, I never played this game. What am I doing?
I got my Nova Master skin unlocked, and then like I've never played Nova since.
Oh God. Well, Intense talked a little bit about that medevac. It is occurring right now,
yeah,
so it's pretty important.
Normally this comes with just 4 Marines, and that's already deadly enough. He's actually forgotten, like this is supposed to have 6 aliens with it, so kind of, oh there they are, a little bit late to the party, but still quite a deadly force coming his way. The Marines can snipe off the Queens. I mean, the constant DPS that the Marines bring to the fight is insane. The Hellbats are going to be so good at guarding against the Lynx that are coming out. Kane, well, the Banelings should be able to hold this, but that's only if he can get them out in time. They're only just now morphing in.
You're gonna have to protect those queens. Not a whole lot of transfuses, and they were a little bunched up, but the Lings were just enough to take down most of the Hellbats. Only 2 survive, maybe not even. Oh, nope. 1 survives. I'll just pick up the Marines. And what's important though is that he did keep the Marines and the medevac alive. So while that didn't do maybe the damage that it could have, I mean, it could have killed all 5 queens. That would have been awesome. It's still there. It's like an oracle that you just can't get rid of.
Maybe I'm ridiculous, and in like almost 4 years worth of StarCraft 2. Can I finish, please? You were so quick on the gun. Like, how long have you been waiting on that opportunity? Jesus. In like Forza Stark, I feel like I've never really looked that closely at the Baneling animation, but I feel like they changed the Baneling cocoon. Maybe? I don't know.
Didn't they like really early on though? They updated the graphics.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've never really had the I don't know, the attention span to stare at them morphing in, but
true.
I'm gonna keep an eye on this because they look a little bit weird to me. I don't know, like they're longer.
Oh no! Oh no! Big mistake! Big mistake!
Yeah, that's gonna sting losing that medevac. Because now the Zergling's on top of the Marines and Intense is forced to fight. Kane should be able to clean this up. Well, I was gonna say without Banelings, but use the Banelings anyways.
Oh well. Vikings gonna get another Overlord. I mean, Intense was looking to do some, solid damage. He killed an Overlord with that medevac drop. He could have picked up again up until the Spire was out, and the Spire seems a little bit late. That was gonna finish around 10:30. I
didn't realize just so many aliens gonna follow this up. There's more than like a couple you would expect to see, so a little bit scary for Kane. Not super life-threatening just yet, but a little bit scary.
That's a lot of. I mean, what do you mean? 20 Hellions in total? Really? That's a lot. For
yeah,
a
we lost 6, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. 1-1's gonna be far ahead for Kane, because it's a little bit of a bad thing about Intense's build here, but other than that, he's seeming okay. I really am pretty, like, that medevac is just so useful to have all around. Really sad he lost that.
I can't believe our admins have a drama, ! Drama command for, like, all the pictures of the Toronto drama.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
Oh, no.
Shout out to the base trade mods for being scumbags.
God.
It was a rough night, guys. I cried all night long. It was...
Can confirm he did cry all night long.
Yeah, but that's because you guys were making fun of me for the shower. That's not the same.
Wait, no, don't say it like that.
It doesn't. Okay, yeah, that's not helping. That's hurting. Oh yeah. Okay, well. Anyways, getting back a point for the game. Kane wants to get tears down the rocks really early, so he's going to have a second way to get in and go for surrounds. I mean, that is kind of key when it comes to taking on any sort of Terran force, but I'm really worried the bathing count might be a little too low. Okay, look at this from the side.
Maybe.
Do these look longer? I don't know, man. I'm crazy. Whatever. Someone snuck something in my water tonight.
I can kind of see what you're talking about on the one that's kind of horizontal.
Maybe some just so used to see them morph like that, like where they're facing upwards, they're facing north. Normally you see their butts and nothing else. But the Hellbats, the Hellions transform into the Hellbats. Combat Shields is so close to being done for this push. I do feel like this is a little bit early for Intense. Had he waited that extra few seconds, he would have had the extra health of the Marines to survive those Baneling hits. But Zergling's on top of all of this, and the Hellbats are, well, trying to spread, but there's just too much from Kane.
Yeah, if there's one thing that deals really well with Hellbat compositions, it's like mass things, okay? But usually mass Banelings as well. you know, just overwhelm them is basically what it comes down to. Like Widow Mines, if you have an overwhelming force, it's possible that they get those 2 Widow Mine shots to just neglect that, and you're like, oh, Widow Mines are cool. But versus Hellbats, they're never gonna get that one awesome shot. Well, not usually, anyways. That negates 20 extra Banelings. So you overwhelm that composition, and then you keep on going, and that's why it's scary. And I guess that's kind of why it fell out of favor too. I mean, at one point, like Flash Toronto was doing that every single game. Now it's back down to Widow Mines for the most part, being the main splash damage.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I think Daishu is one of the guys who's using Hellbats really early, way back a bit of time ago as well. But anyways, Medevac in the morning is going to get slaughtered by the Mutalisks over here. His push in the middle of the map is kind of leapfrogging forward. He's spreading out like, good moves, Intense. Too bad there's nothing nearby. And
it's always like, if you spread out this much, it makes your army just look a lot worse, honestly. Like, Lings get surrounds on everything.
Yeah, lets the Mutas pick off 2 Marines at a time instead of having to engage in a 7. I mean, that is the problem. The more you spread, the more susceptible you become to the Mutas. Either way, drop on the left gets picked up, cleaned up. And Kane is ahead in supply in a pretty good way. He's up in upgrades, too. I didn't even realize just how far ahead in upgrades. Yikes. No wonder Intense doesn't be able to take any good fights. Kane, by the way, with all this breathing room, like I said before, it's not something you necessarily planned for, but if you've got the opening for it, swarm hosts.
Yeah, and he does. Now this does mean that the game will probably drag on for a little bit longer. In regular Ling games, they win one good fight and they can have an immediate counterattack. With swarm hosts, again, they're not really the counterattack unit, but that's also usually just means it's going to be a slow death. Exactly what we saw against QXC on this exact same map.
Swarmos does pretty good damage there. Scans forward to stem on top of this. Going for the Mutas. Definitely should have focused on the Swarmos before they recharged. He's going to get 1 or 2, but this is going to cost them all his Marines. Very awkward engagement here out of Intense.
Yeah, not worth at all. It's like, oh. Good imitations, bro.
Nailed it. You didn't even know it was me. You had.
I was like, what was that sound? Wow.
Why are there so many Widow Mines going off so loud? The song goes to the main actually did a great job holding against us. He actually doesn't even really need to send too much home.
Is it you?
Yeah, it was me. Yeah, it was me. Oh wait,
that's
the
me.
lag? Oh shoot. I thought you were talking about sounds. I don't.
Not still on.
It is you. You stop.
Karma.
Can you not? Can you just not lag, please? That's embarrassing because the whole world has to see that on my stream. Jesus.
How about the time that your stream died and even noticed? How about that time, Rifkin? How about that time? Anyways. Intense, he's still up and he's still an okay supply, especially for like, being on the defense. I mean, if he pushes out, he's probably gonna get swamped, but dropping is not a bad idea against Swarm Host, but there are Mutas on the field. Gotta be very, very careful.
I feel like the problem with a lot of what Intense has, like his army supply is even still not that bad, despite all these, quite frankly, bad engagements he's had. The problem is there's no real opportunities for damage. Kane has had his bases covered really nicely. Spine Crawlers littering the main, Swarm Host covering between the natural and the third, and if he wants to go for that fourth, he's gonna have to walk that death hallway. It's really, I almost feel gonna be down to this point where Intense has to take a really good defensive fight and then counter, and that's the only way he's really going to shut Kane down. But the longer the game goes on, that's when Kane gets Ultralisks out, that's when Kane gets his 3-3. I mean, it's going to be more and more difficult to do that.
Look what he's doing. I like this choice. Adding on 2 more factories, bring up to a total of 4. That's going to be a very, like, biomech-y composition, more so than we usually see. I don't know if it's going to be like a grab bag of splash or factory units, like a couple Thors, a couple Widow Mines, a couple Hellbats, or what. But there are a couple siege tanks too. There you go. But whatever like it is, the factory units are going to be more helpful than just like straight up bio.
Well, the depots are down. That's not going to help. Bit of an awkward mistake to be made. The Widow Mines getting absolutely completely demolished before they can even get into the fight. Oh dear, this could not go worse for Intense as far as the start of this. Talk about needing a good defensive fight into a good counterattack. That option is kind of being stripped away little bit by little bit. Turning in the main was the best thing he had going for him. He did catch quite a few of the Mutas on the way out, but Kane doesn't mind losing all this. All this really did was free up supply for Ultralisks.
Yeah. But Ultras are even better to have a good defensive fight for. A couple SimCity, a couple barracks in the right place, and suddenly you he took on Ultras pretty damn well, but Intense has yet to set up that SimCity. He can definitely start doing it over exactly where he is, because, I mean, at this point, you gotta imagine, like, am I gonna try and be really offensive and, like, take down Swarm Host, or I'm just gonna try and, like, kind of, like, turtle it out, even though I'm not playing mech? And I would say the latter, really. I'd say, like, throw down a couple of command centers, like you're playing against Protoss, and take the 4th, force them to come to you. Their Swarm Host can't really move that far forward, so they're always gonna be kind of only part of Kane's army, and the Ultras will die to any AI, like, mishaps. They're stupid. They're really stupid. Just take advantage of that.
Man, this is... I don't know. I like the siege tanks coming out. I just don't think he'll ever have enough to actually
deal with time, though. I mean, look what he's doing. He's like playing like a mech player. He is going to go into
like, it's the right moves,
Ravens.
But his Bane's.
I think he could always... I think he can always survive. Like, unless he goes out there and gets swamped by Ultras, which seems like he's about to do, and I really hope he doesn't. Plays it really passive. He will take a good engagement almost always.
Not if there's no wall.
Okay, well, even still, these Ultras will be trapped. They obviously can't attack air. He will be able to kill them.
Yes, this was a trap. It was a way to corral the Ultras and bait them in. Intelligent and next level moves out of Intense.
Hey, what are they killing, alright? A couple Marines?
No, I wasn't being sarcastic. I'm saying they've been trapped in here. He's gonna get 3, like, mostly free Ultras.
I feel like your tone was definitely sarcastic, and then you realized I was right, and then you change.
I think you're reading into this way too much. Like, I'm sorry for agreeing with you, Zombie Grub. My bad.
You should be, alright? Damn it.
I hate supporting people.
Anyways, so, I mean, this is... Okay, the Swarm Hosts have finally gotten in a really good position where they will be attacking important structures with every single wave, and that's worrying. But Intense, had he been able to get up to a 5th base, this gold base, he could play it like a mech player. He could turtle and like force Kane to come to him and maybe take a good engagement. Only on 4 bases, maybe not so much.
Well, the Locusts are getting a lot of damage done here. The problem is, yeah, they don't last that long, but I mean, the damage lasts. Barracks goes down, tech left falls. He's trying to move up here with the tanks. Does siege them in time for an engagement, but the thing for Kane is these are so overextended. There's rocks up, like he could just go down to the natural and not even fight up here.
Well, target fire the Banelings. Oh well.
He tried to a little bit towards the end, but the Ultras are gonna be a little too much. With the Marines going down, there's nothing to stop the Mutalisks either. And Intense is very expensive investment in these tanks. It's starting to fall apart.
Yeah, Intense is running out of money. Can't really remax that fast. He is starting to try and get those Ravens you're talking about, but he did not have them.
I never talked about Ravens. What are you talking about?
I talked about Ravens. I talked about him getting 2 more starports and going into like a late game Raven composition. Sorry, I talked about. God. Jeez. You know what? I was trying to make you look good, like calling something correctly for once. Anyways,
I don't know.
Command center finally goes down.
I don't know why you need to be like this. I don't know who made you this way.
Started it. Yeah. I don't know why this barracks. Oh, I know where the barracks is lifted actually. Keeps re-rallying it so it won't land.
Yeah. That's a really frustrating feeling too. It happens with orbitals a lot when you try to transfer them over, but you know, despite the SimCity here, oh, actually the SVs might be able to repair. It's only 2 Ultras. They don't exactly bust through buildings like they did once upon a time, but the Banelings certainly do. They're going to keep rolling in. Kane's got so much money he can literally waste at this point. That bank is looking fantastic behind this. But Intense is starting to push on top of the Swarm Hosts as he starts beating back these Locust waves. Yeah, he's got to watch that Kane doesn't lose these Swarm Hosts. They're very expensive units, not fun to replace. Even though I just talked about him having all that money, these are really expensive.
Yeah, good focus fire on those tanks. Get a lot of the Banelings down, and they do not touch the Marines, but all of the Marauders are gone. What deals with the Ultras?
This is what I love. I said at the start of this game, like, Intense is this weird player. He'll take bad engagements. He'll take what looks like devastating losses, but he'll still play the game well. He'll still be in it 26 minutes in against a composition that looked like he had certainly lost against.
I feel like a lot of Terrans especially, maybe that's just because I'm kind of the same way, but they'll put it into overdrive in the last 10 minutes of a death animation, and they'll be like, man, if only I played that way for the entire 30 minutes, I would have been winning.
It's like when Protoss players lose their army, they start being gods with Blink Micro, right? You're like, oh, well, I guess now I'll super control around the map, and now I'll kill all the Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, exactly. And If only you had played like that the entire 30 minutes. Maybe,
It's only in your death throes that you become a god. But as he tries to steam into this, I don't quite know if he's got the firepower to break the swarm host that he did before. It's a lot of locusts he has to burn through, and the Marines, well, in 3-3, still taking a lot of damage.
And no, the Banelings.
Here comes
There's
what
no
feels
splash
like
anymore.
free refills!
Oh god.
In Canada, Kane offers free refills. GG's finally called. Kane will take the first game in this best of 3.